Hi, I'm going to show you how to program the Hunter X2 irrigation controller. First thing you've got to do is program the day and time. And to do that, you set the dial switch to date time. First thing that's going to flash is the year. To change the year, you just push the plus or minus. And once you've got the year set, push the right arrow. That'll take you to the month. Do the plus or minus to get the correct month. Then the right arrow again, change the day, and you're done with the date. Now you've got to set the time. First thing that flashes is PM or AM. You can choose between AM, PM, or 24-hour clock. And it's PM, so I'm going to push the plus sign until I get to PM. Hit the right arrow. Now I'm going to set the hour. And going to set the minutes. Once you're done with that, you'll hit the right arrow. It'll take you back to the year. You're done with that. So now your date and time is set. Okay, now let's look at how to set the start times. Now under most circumstances, you're only going to have one start time for any particular program. And if you do set multiple start times like A2, A3, A4, then program A is going to run 2, 3, or 4 times, however many start times you've set. You don't set a start time for each zone. You set a start time for each program. So in most circumstances, all of your stations are going to be set to run on the same program. So in this case, let's use program A, and let's set a start time of, let's say 4 a.m. Okay, so that is all you need to do here. Now, if we scroll over, you can see that all the rest of these are off. Let's go to program B, they're all off. Program C, they're all off. So now all you've got left is to set your run times. Okay, we are not using program C. All we're using is program A. So this A1 does not refer to program A1. This refers to program A, zone 1. So zone 1 right now is set to run for 15 minutes. Let's run it for 20. Zone 2 we'll set for 20 minutes. Zone 3, just hit that plus arrow until it gets up to 20. And zone 4 is set to run for 20 minutes. And then what you need to do is set your watering days. Let's say we want to water 3 times a week. We'll water on Monday, so you hit your plus sign. And that automatically will go to Tuesday, not on Tuesday, plus for Wednesday, minus for Thursday, plus for Friday, and minus and minus. So now program A is going to run every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday starting at 4 a.m. So you are basically done setting your program. There's nothing set to run on those. So now you're basically done. But let's say you have an area of your yard, maybe your entire backyard you've resodded or you've seeded, and you want to water it every day. While the other part of your yard, you're just going to water 3 times a week. So the 3 times a week stuff, we're going to put on program A. So those will be zones, let's say 1 and 2. So let's go to program A, and let's just leave it at 4 a.m. And then we need to set the run times. So again, we want to run only zones 1 and 2 on program A. So you go here to run times. Zone A1 or zone 1 is set to run for 20 minutes. Zone 2 is set to run for 20 minutes. But zones 3 and 4, we're only going to water 3 times a week. So we're going to turn them off in program A. So now we've got only zones 1 and 2 set to run on program A starting at 4 a.m. We're not going to do anything with program B or C right now. Okay, so now let's look at the watering days. We want to look at program A. So again, they're already set for Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So the main part of the yard is finished. It's going to run Monday, Wednesday, Friday starting at 4 a.m. and zones 1 and 2 are going to each run for 20 minutes. Okay, now let's look at the part of the yard that we've resodded or reseeded. for that, we're going to use program B. Right now it is turned off. Let's run it at 5 a.m. Program A is running at 4 a.m., so it'll be finished before 5 a.m. So we're going to set this to run starting at 5 a.m. And that's all you need to do here. We don't need anything for program 2, 3, or 4. Okay, so let's say we do want program B to run twice a day. That's the recently seeded or sodded part of your yard. So what you're going to do is go to program B2 and you're going to set a second start time. Let's just go to 8 p.m. and you can go backwards. Since we're at midnight, it's easier to go backwards. We'll go to 8 p.m. So program B2 will start at 8 p.m. Now we need to set run times. This is zone 1. We don't want it to run. We're going to leave it at 0. B2 or zone 2 is also going to be left at 0. We only want to use zones 3 and 4 here. So zone 3, let's run for 20 minutes. Zone 4, let's run for 20 minutes. And then we're going to choose the watering days. We will water every day, so you just hit the plus sign. We got all of them flashing. So program B, which is zones 3 and 4, is going to run starting at 5 a.m. and at 8 p.m. 7 days a week. And you are done programming. So in summary, let me just show you one more time. Start times, if you only want to water once every watering day, only set one start time. If you want to water twice a day, set 2 watering times, and that would be B1 and B2, or A1 and A2, or C. And on the run times, it says B1. This is not associated with program B1, which you see right here. This is associated with program B zone 1, program B zone 2, program B zone 3, and program B zone 4. Let's move on. Now let me show you another watering day option that you have here. If you go all the way past Sunday, we get odd and even. If you want to water only, or basically every other day, on the odd days or the even days, you can do that. You see odd is flashing, now even's flashing. So you can choose to water on odd or even days. And that makes programming pretty simple. Now another option you've got is you can do interval watering. Now you go from odd and even, you hit the right arrow, that will take you to interval. Let's say you want to water every 5 days. By setting this, every 5th day, this program B will operate and it'll water those trees every 5 days. So you could have done that instead of saying you want to water only on Monday and Thursday. And hit the arrow, right arrow one more time, and this starts flashing. This is how many days before this kicks into effect. If you want today to be the first day of the 5-day interval, then you leave it at 0. If you want to wait until tomorrow for it to start, then you press the up arrow or the plus sign. And if you do here, it'll wait 3 days before it starts this every 5th day thing. And another thing you can do, once you're at that point, if you, let's say you do your yard work every Saturday when you're off work. So you do not want it to water ever on a Saturday. So when this 5-day interval falls on a Saturday, you do not want it to water. So you go here, hit the minus sign, and the Saturday is turned off. So when that 5th day interval hits on Saturday, it will not water. And you are basically done programming. Again, there's nothing on program C, and we're back to program A. And this thing is set and ready to go. That's all you have to know in order to program this Hunter X2 controller. There are a couple of other features that I'll show you. First one is seasonal adjust. If you change this from 100%, let's say you change it to 50%, and you might want to do this when the weather starts cooling down. By doing that, if you had 20 minutes set for each station to run, by setting that to 50, every station is now going to run for 10 minutes. And again, you might want to do that when the cooler weather hits. On the other hand, let's say you get into a really hot, dry spell. You want to increase everything by 50%. You can go up to as high as 200% here. And that makes it very simple to change all the run times with basically a couple of clicks. If you have a pump that, such as a well, this will control that. I'm not going to get into that. And if you want to run the system manually, what you can do, turn that to manual, select which station you want to run. Let's say we want to run station 2. So once station 2 is flashing, you can change the time. Maybe you just want to run it for a couple of minutes to do some checking, make sure all the heads are turning, rotating, and everything's working okay. So you set how much time you want it to run, click it to run, and station 2 will turn on. If you want to do the same with station 3, all you have to do is hit this right arrow, and now station 3 kicks on. Do it again, go to station 4, and now station 4 will run, in this case for 15 minutes. And then you can also go on to station 1. So that's what a manual does for you. If you don't want this to run at all for some reason, you turn it off for a few days and it will not run until you set it back to the run position. Now if you turn it to the off position, make sure you don't forget about it. And make sure you get it set back to run so your lawn doesn't die. And that's really all there is to programming this controller. I hope this video has been helpful for you. I really appreciate you watching. If you have any comments, please leave them and I'll answer them just as quickly as I can. Thank you. Have a great day.